Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, we open a quiet page from the past to wander through a world wrapped in shadows, a world where the setting sun marked not just evening, but the beginning of mystery, fear, and wonder. In the medieval age, once the sun slipped below the horizon, the lives of people changed in ways that may surprise you. For without bright street lamps or glowing screens, darkness carried both danger and comfort, both silence and secret voices. What happened after sunset in a medieval village? How did families end their day? What fears haunted the roads at night? And what songs rose softly from the hearth? Stay with me tonight as we journey into that forgotten darkness. And if you enjoy this tale, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments, telling us where in the world you are listening from. Now, let us begin as the night slowly falls over a medieval land. The sun has long since dipped below the rolling hills, and the village begins to surrender to the gentle embrace of twilight. In a medieval countryside, the close of day is never sudden, but rather a slow fading of gold into gray and then into the deep velvet of night. Farmers, weary from the long hours in the fields, guide their oxen homeward, the wooden yokes creaking softly as they walk. The air smells of damp soil and fresh cut hay, mingled with faint traces of smoke from the hearth fires just beginning to rise. Children run ahead, laughing faintly before their voices are swallowed by the hush of dusk, and mothers call them closer, reminding them that night is not a time for wandering. Inside small, timber-framed cottages, the rhythm of evening takes hold. The animals are tied safely in their stalls, cows giving their last milk of the day, goats bleating softly, hens settling noisily into their roosts. The clang of a wooden pail against a stone floor echoes as warm milk foams and froths, and the smell of it mingles with the sharper scent of burning peat. Fires are stoked in earthen hearths, sending sparks upward into dim rafters where bundles of herbs hang drying, their fragrance gently perfuming the air. The sound of crackling logs fills the silence outside as families gather in the one warm corner of their simple homes. Yet, with the comfort of home, there also lies an unspoken edge of unease. For in this time, darkness is more than the absence of light. It is a living presence, a cloak under which dangers are thought to stir. People whisper that wolves prowl the edges of the fields, their eyes glinting faintly beyond the hedgerows. Others fear not the beasts of the forest, but the shadows of men, thieves, bandits, and outlaws who might slip along the lanes unseen. And in the stillness, when the night wind whistles through the cracks of doors, stories of wandering spirits and restless souls come to mind. To the medieval villager, the darkness is rarely empty. It is crowded with unseen company. Children huddle close to the hearth, listening wide-eyed as elders recount such tales. By flickering candle or the glow of a rushlight, shadows leap and dance across the cottage walls, sometimes playful, sometimes uncanny. A mother may stroke her child's hair, murmuring prayers of protection, while a father rests weary hands on the rough wood of the table, glad to be home and safe within four walls. Outside, however, the world grows ever quieter, punctuated only by the occasional bark of a dog or the cry of a night bird. The sky, now fully dark, reveals its stars one by one until a whole canopy glitters above, far brighter than we can imagine today. For in the medieval night, without lanterns or electricity to dim the heavens, the stars reign in silent brilliance, a reminder of vast mysteries beyond the reach of human fears. The village prepares for its nightly rest, though not all at once. Some linger to share bread, cheese, or a simple broth cooked in a blackened pot. Others speak softly of the next day's labors, of fields to till or wool to spin. Slowly, doors are barred, shutters closed, and prayers whispered, as if to hold back whatever may wander in the night. And so, under the deep silence of the medieval sky, the small community settles into the fragile peace of evening, caught between the warmth of the hearth and the ever-watchful dark that presses close outside. And yet, even as most cottages drift toward silence, the night outside grows more restless. Beyond the small cluster of homes, the fields lie still beneath the silver wash of moonlight. Tall grasses sway in the cool wind, their whispers like voices too soft to understand. A barn owl sweeps low over the hedges, wings ghost-like against the stars, and somewhere in the far woods a wolf calls, its long howl answered faintly by another in the distance. These sounds stir unease in the villagers who remain awake, for every noise in darkness carries weight. Every echo hints at something unseen. Inside one cottage, a father carefully checks the latch on his wooden door, sliding a heavy beam across to bar it shut. The gesture is simple, but filled with meaning, for a door in the medieval night is more than wood and iron. It is a fragile boundary against the unknown. Beyond it, law holds little power, and superstition grows tall. Neighbors murmur about spirits wandering crossroads at night, about the souls of the unburied searching for rest, and about strange lights seen flickering in the marshes. Though no one dares to speak too loudly of such things, the stories live close at hand, ready to slip into the mind when the fire burns low. By the hearth, families linger in quiet ritual. A mother sets out a small wooden bowl of water to be used should anyone wake thirsty before dawn. An elder crosses himself before blowing gently on the coals, letting the fire settle into a soft red glow. Candles are snuffed one by one until only the faintest light remains, painting long shadows across the beams of the ceiling. The scent of smoke lingers heavy in the room, mixing with the earthy smell of woolen blankets and straw bedding. For many, this is the safest place in the world, a circle of warmth pressed tightly against the great dark outside. Yet, not everyone lies down to sleep. In the distance, atop the stone walls of a nearby castle, torches burn steadily, their flames bending with the night wind. Guards pace back and forth along the battlements, their boots echoing against the ancient stones. Each man clutches a spear or crossbow, eyes scanning the land beyond. Though the village sleeps, the castle cannot, for raiders or thieves may strike without warning, and silence is no promise of safety. Inside the hall, however, life continues. The lord of the keep hosts a late supper, the clatter of knives and laughter spilling faintly through the tall windows into the dark. For those within the castle walls, the night brings feasting, storytelling, and music played on lutes, a world apart from the hushed cottages below. Closer to the village, a small monastery stands, its bell tolling softly to mark the hour. The monks, wrapped in plain woolen robes, shuffle quietly into the chapel, their voices joining in chant. The sound rises like smoke into the rafters, solemn and steady, echoing through the cold stone halls. For them, night is not for fear, but for prayer, for keeping vigil while the world sleeps. The rhythm of their chanting offers a strange comfort even to villagers far away who hear the faint sound carried on the wind. It is a reminder that somewhere in the darkness, prayers are being spoken, candles lit, and guardians of the soul are awake. Meanwhile, families who have not yet gone to bed gather for one last moment together. Around a low fire, stories are told of heroes and saints, of strange omens and creatures best left unnamed. Children press closer, their eyelids heavy, but their minds stirred by wonder. A grandmother hums an old ballad, her voice cracked but sweet, filling the room with a tune older than memory itself. Slowly, the warmth, the words, and the rhythm of song guide them towards sleep, until only silence remains once more. And so, the medieval night deepens, layer upon layer, fear and faith, silence and song, shadows and firelight, each shaping how people lived after the sun was gone. As the night stretches farther across the hills and valleys, the village seems to shrink under the soft pull of darkness. Only a few windows glow with warm light, spilling small rectangles onto the uneven paths. From one such cottage, a young boy peeks through the shutter, watching shadows dance across the yard. He sees the gentle sway of the trees, the glint of dew on cobwebs, and hears the distant bark of a dog announcing some unseen visitor. Fear tinges his excitement, for the medieval night is both a playground for imagination and a stage for real dangers. Meanwhile, in another home, an elderly couple sits near the fire, hands intertwined, speaking in hushed tones about their day. They recount small victories and quiet losses, the mundane struggles of life that seem magnified under the cloak of night. Outside, the wind sighs through the gaps in the timber walls, whispering across the fields as if carrying news from distant lands. Every creak, every sudden rustle holds meaning. Every flicker of light in the distance can become a story in the mind of a listener. Across the village, the smithy's forge has long gone cold, the clang of hammer on iron replaced by the occasional call of a night bird. The blacksmith's apprentice, tired from the day's work, rests in the loft, listening to the distant croak of frogs in the pond. Water drips from the eaves after a light evening rain, rhythmically striking the stones below. Each sound merges into a night song that only those awake can hear. The soft harmony of the sleeping land, stitched together by wind, water, and creature. Not far from the cottages, the castle walls loom, still alive with light and movement. Torches flicker along the battlements, shadows leaping across the stone like silent dancers. Guards murmur quietly to one another, reporting sights and sounds as they patrol the perimeter. The great hall remains lit, voices spilling laughter and song into the night air. Lords and ladies eat, toast, and exchange stories, oblivious to the chill creeping along the rooftops of the village below. Here, life after sunset is a mixture of vigilance and festivity, of quiet strategy and indulgence, each moment measured against the dangers and delights of the dark. Even in these upper walls, however, the night brings its own fears. Whispers of thieves and wandering spirits filter through corridors. A sudden gust shakes a banner hanging in the hall, and for a brief moment, the shadowed corners seem alive with movement. Candlelight wavers across faces, reflecting fleeting concern in eyes that are otherwise accustomed to the dark. Though the stone walls provide protection, the mind's imagination cannot be confined. And even here, under the protection of iron and stone, people acknowledge the silent weight of night. Meanwhile, in the monastery atop the hill, the bells have tolled again, and monks kneel in the candlelit chapel. Their chants rise and fall in gentle cadence, filling the air with a sense of both solemnity and calm. The scent of incense curls upward, mingling with the cold night air slipping through the open doors. From their cells, some monks write by candlelight, copying texts with meticulous care, while others meditate, letting their minds travel to places of thought and spirit far beyond the reach of the village below. The rhythm of their work and prayer becomes part of the night itself, a subtle counterpoint to the fears and whispers among the villagers. And even as homes settle, fires dim, and bodies begin to yield to sleep, the world outside continues its quiet vigil. Wolves move silently through shadowed woods. Owls swoop in arcs against the moonlight, and the distant hills carry the sound of running water. Every element is alive, each with its own place in the nocturnal tapestry. For those awake, the night is a living thing, simultaneously threatening and protective, frightening and beautiful. It teaches patience, attentiveness, and respect, and binds together communities in the shared experience of existing under darkness, together and apart, until the first signs of dawn begin to stretch across the horizon. And as the first hours of deep night settle fully over the village, a hush spreads that is heavier than the twilight before. Every cottage sleeps under the same silver moon, yet each home carries its own echoes of life, faintly vibrating in the air. Inside, a family stirs quietly. A mother tiptoes to soothe a crying infant, her hand soft against the child's cheek, her whispered words floating like a lullaby. The soft warmth of the hearth comforts them. But even here, the awareness of night's unknown perimeters lingers. A shadow beyond the door, the sigh of wind against the roof, a distant, indistinct howl carried by the valley. In a small stone tower overlooking the far edge of the village, a lone watchman walks his nightly round. His boots echo softly against the flagstones, a measured rhythm that contrasts with the irregular sounds of the sleeping countryside. He pauses to peer over the parapet, scanning the horizon for movement. Trees sway silently, fields shimmer faintly beneath the moonlight, and the road to the next village seems like a ribbon of black silk stretching endlessly. The watchman grips his spear tightly, aware that bandits sometimes travel under cover of darkness, and that an unobserved misstep could turn a quiet night into danger. At the same time, families who have gone to bed long ago experience the quiet interruptions of segmented sleep. Some rise briefly to pray, murmuring to saints and ancestors for protection. Others check on the animals in the stall, ensuring that the livestock are calm, that the gates hold fast against wandering creatures. Occasionally, a dog's bark pierces the night, prompting footsteps and whispered conversation before a return to slumber. In this age, sleep is never wholly continuous. It is shared between rest, duty, and watchfulness. a reflection of life itself, attentive to both the comforts and hazards of existence. The castle, still ablaze with torchlight, offers a stark contrast to the village below. Within its high walls, a banquet continues, music and laughter spilling over stone corridors. Minstrels play their lutes and flutes, notes floating upward and outward, reaching ears beyond the walls. Servants hurry quietly with dishes, their own movements casting long shadows in the torchlight. In the halls above, noble children, weary from the day's lessons, lean drowsily against their parents, lulled by the warmth and rhythm of the hall. Here, night is both protection and indulgence, a world apart from the chilly fields and thatched roofs below, yet under the same unchanging moon. Meanwhile, in the monastery, a softer rhythm prevails. The monks' chants continue, deepening the sense of meditation and reflection. Some have moved to the scriptorium, ink scratching gently against parchment as they copy ancient texts. Others sit in silent prayer, letting their thoughts drift through memory and spirit. Occasionally, the quiet is broken by the tolling of a bell, a reminder that the passage of time persists even when the world seems to have stopped. For villagers listening from afar, these sounds are faint but reassuring, an audible thread tying together lives separated by walls, distance, and social order. Back among the cottages, small hearth fires cast long flickering shadows on wooden beams. Stories are shared in whispers of ancestors, of deeds long forgotten, and of creatures that haunt the dark. The rhythm of speech, the cadence of song, and the crackle of fire weave together a comfort against night's uncertainties. Children drift toward sleep, held in warmth and memory, while adults keep watch, attentive, reflective, guarding against dangers both real and imagined. Even in the deepest hours, life continues its quiet rhythm, shaped by the slow, deliberate patterns of a medieval night. Outside, the natural world participates in this nocturnal symphony. Owls call softly, a pair of foxes pads through the underbrush, and the distant river murmurs over stones smoothed by centuries. Shadows stretch long and thin, and the stars glimmer steadily above, indifferent to the worries of men. This is the medieval night in full, a tapestry of sound and silence, danger and solace, fear and hope, connecting all who dwell under its expanse until the faintest hint of dawn begins to pierce the horizon. And as the night continues to unfold, a subtle hush settles over the village, deeper now than before. The moon rides high in the sky, its silver light spilling across the fields, illuminating the paths and hedgerows with an ethereal glow. Shadows stretch long across the cottages, flickering where fires remain, and the scent of damp earth rises from the soil, mixed with the faint smoke of last embers. Even in sleep, villagers are never fully removed from the sounds of night. Every rustle of leaves, every distant howl carries meaning, inviting both caution and imagination. Within a modest cottage, a young woman stirs, her eyes opening briefly in the dark. She moves softly to check on her younger siblings, making sure the blankets are pulled close, the small hearth still warm enough to guard against the night chill. Outside, the wind rustles the thatched roof, bending it slightly with soft, almost musical groans. The village seems alive in ways invisible to the daytime eye. Shapes shift in the dark, and unseen creatures trace the borders of human habitation. Fear is never far, but neither is wonder, for each sound and motion carries stories handed down through generations, whispered beside fires and over evening meals. In the castle, the night holds a different rhythm. Torches cast tall, dancing shadows across the stone walls, and guards patrol diligently, their eyes scanning the distant hills. The noble household sleeps in staggered shifts, servants attending quietly to late tasks, carrying trays or extinguishing candles with careful precision. In the hall above, a small group of musicians practices softly lutes and flutes, creating gentle, winding melodies that drift through corridors and out into the night air. Here, the night is both protection and display, filled with the rituals of wealth and status, yet threaded with the same underlying vigilance that governs every life in darkness. Meanwhile, the monks at the monastery follow their own silent patterns. Some have risen for midnight prayer, moving in quiet procession through the stone cloisters. Their chants echo softly in the chapel, merging with the scent of incense and the faint whistle of the night wind through narrow windows. Others remain in their cells, reading by the flicker of candlelight, their ink scratching softly against parchment. The stillness of their devotion contrasts with the restless energy of the sleeping village below. But in a sense, both exist within the same expansive rhythm of the night, attentive to time, duty, and unseen forces. Back in the village, the night is punctuated by occasional sounds that stir the imagination. A dog barks at some distant, unseen wanderer. The hoot of an owl carries from a nearby forest. A fox moves silently along the edge of a field, its presence sensed rather than seen. These noises, familiar yet unpredictable, shape how villagers navigate the darkness, teaching both respect and wariness. Even in the comfort of home, the night remains a living presence, demanding alertness, humility, and a measured courage that passes quietly from one generation to the next. Families still awake engage in quiet activities. Some share stories of their ancestors, tales of courage and folly, of spirits and omens. Others sing soft melodies, old songs that carry the weight of memory. By the hearth, bread is passed, and small mugs of warm ale or herbal tea comfort hands chilled by the evening air. Children, lulled by warmth, sound, and rhythm, drift deeper into sleep. Adults maintain a delicate balance between rest and vigilance, mindful of both natural and human dangers that may lurk just beyond the circle of firelight. And so the medieval night deepens, layered with shadows and light, sound and silence, caution and celebration. Every element, the forests, the animals, the stone walls of the castle, the quiet vigil of the monks, and the hearths of countless cottages, contributes to a tapestry of nocturnal life. The darkness is at once a protector, a teacher, and a mirror of human imagination, drawing the villagers together in shared experience, and leaving them finally to the slow, segmented sleep that marks the rhythm of a medieval world under the gaze of stars. By now, the village lies almost entirely quiet beneath the vast expanse of night. Yet the world outside remains alive with subtle movement. The wind courses softly through the fields, brushing against stalks of grain and bending tall grasses in gentle waves. Somewhere, a fox slinks along the edge of the forest, its eyes glinting faintly in the moonlight. The croak of frogs echoes from the pond, and an owl's wings stir the cold night air. Even as the human inhabitants rest, nature continues its nocturnal rhythm, reminding all that life in darkness is never truly still. Inside one of the larger cottages, a small family gathers quietly around the last embers of the fire. The mother hums a low tune, her voice blending with the occasional pop and crackle of burning wood. Her hands move over a young child's hair, brushing it softly back from a flushed forehead. The father, tired from the day's work, leans against the wall, eyes half closed, yet alert to the subtle sounds beyond the door. Every creak, every rustle is measured carefully. Life in this time depends on attention, even during the deepest hours of sleep. Not far away, a small procession of monks moves silently along the cloistered paths of their monastery. Candlelight flickers across stone walls, and their soft chant carries lightly through the cool air. Some pause to kneel in the open courtyard, letting the scent of incense mingle with the crisp night breeze. Others move to the scriptorium, dipping quills into ink, copying texts with meticulous care. Their labor is slow and deliberate, as the rhythm of night dictates both action and reflection. From the monastery's heights, faint echoes of chant drift down to the village, a subtle comfort to those still awake or restless in sleep, reminding them that vigilance and devotion can coexist with calm. Meanwhile, atop the castle walls, torches bend in the night wind as guards continue their patrols. The echo of boots on stone carries far, warning both friend and foe of watchful eyes. Inside the great hall, supper has ended, and musicians retreat to quiet corners, plucking lutes and strumming soft tunes to accompany whispered conversation. Young nobles listen, drowsy but fascinated, as stories unfold in low voices. Laughter rises gently, mixing with the occasional clink of a cup or the rustle of fabric. Though their world is separate from that of the villagers below, the castle too is governed by the same careful balance between fear, vigilance, and the gentle indulgences that night allows. Across the fields, travelers who find themselves far from the village proceed with caution. Lanterns held aloft, they step slowly along narrow paths, wary of unseen threats. Stories of bandits, wild animals, or spirits moving unseen in the darkness are passed in whispers before a journey even begins. Each footfall is measured, each glance wary, as the night presses in on every side. The medieval traveler knows well that night is a companion, a teacher, and sometimes an enemy. Respect for its power is as vital as courage or skill. Inside the village, homes that remain awake focus on quiet rituals. Bread is prepared for the morning. Animals are checked one last time, and small prayers are whispered for protection. Stories are told of past harvests, strange happenings, and lessons learned. Their cadence drawing listeners slowly toward sleep. Children's eyes grow heavy. Their small bodies curl beneath straw mattresses and wool blankets. Even as the darkness presses on the village, warmth, vigilance, and love create a delicate shield, allowing people to rest safely until the first hint of dawn begins to tinge the sky. Thus, the medieval night continues, a weaving of shadows, light, and sound. It teaches patience, attentiveness, and resilience, reminding all who live within it that the hours after sunset are as important as those spent in daylight. The village, the castle, and the monastery coexist in a tapestry of vigilance, ritual, and quiet wonder, each layer contributing to the complex life of the night until the world slowly tilts toward the promise of morning. As midnight deepens, the village sinks further into quiet, yet life continues in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. The wind carries the scent of damp soil and distant woods, brushing against the cottages and rustling the leaves of fruit trees. In the darkened fields, shadows shift as small creatures stir. Foxes moving silently, rabbits hopping along worn paths, and owls gliding soundlessly across the moonlit landscape. For the medieval villagers, these movements are part of a world alive beyond human eyes, a world that exists alongside their own nightly routines. Inside a modest home, a mother moves quietly to tend to the small fire, stirring embers to keep a gentle glow. She listens to the soft breathing of her children, their heads resting against straw-filled mattresses, blankets drawn snugly around them. Occasionally, she glances to the doorway, ensuring that no stray animal has wandered too close, or that the wind has not rattled the shutters too sharply. Each motion is careful and deliberate, for even in the safety of home, awareness is a habit learned over many long nights. In another part of the village, a father tends to the animals in the barn. The cows shift restlessly, the goats bleat softly, and the clatter of hooves against the wooden floor echoes faintly in the quiet. He murmurs gentle reassurances, stroking fur and checking halters, making sure that every creature is safe and settled. The medieval night does not forgive carelessness. Vigilance extends even to the smallest members of the household, and those who have learned to respect darkness are rewarded with safety and calm. Meanwhile, atop the castle walls, torches flare and bend with the night wind, casting tall shadows across the stone battlements. Guards pace steadily, eyes scanning the dark horizon for any hint of movement. Below, the village sleeps, oblivious to their presence, yet reliant on it for a measure of safety. Inside the great hall, quiet music drifts from stringed instruments, mingling with low voices, recounting tales of valor and ancient kings. The rhythm of the castle night is structured and deliberate, a careful balance of duty, entertainment, and vigilance, each element woven seamlessly into the larger fabric of darkness. At the monastery, candlelight flickers across stone floors as monks rise for their midnight prayer. Their chants rise and fall in steady cadence, filling the cold air with a sense of calm and order. Some monks copy texts in the scriptorium, their quills scratching softly against parchment, while others meditate or walk quietly in cloisters. The discipline of their night watch becomes a silent music of devotion, extending far beyond the stone walls, reaching the ears and hearts of those who listen from the village below. In this way, spiritual vigilance mirrors the physical vigilance of guards and farmers alike, all responding to the quiet authority of night. In the open fields, travelers who find themselves far from home proceed with utmost care. Lanterns sway with each careful step, casting long shadows that twist and flicker over uneven terrain. Stories of spirits, wild beasts, and lurking bandits are whispered under their breath, shaping every movement and glance. The medieval traveler knows well that darkness is not merely absence of light, it is a presence demanding attention, respect, and constant awareness. Each step is deliberate, each pause measured, for the night holds lessons for those wise enough to heed them. Back in the village, those who remain awake occupy themselves with quiet tasks. Herbs are prepared for the sick, small repairs are made to fences and rooftops, and the occasional song or story drifts through the night. Children, lulled by warmth and gentle sounds, sleep deeply now, while adults maintain a delicate watch over their homes and families. The night, though still filled with shadows and subtle dangers, also carries solace, teaching patience, resilience, and the quiet joys of simple life. Thus, the medieval night weaves itself further, a tapestry of vigilance, ritual, and quiet wonder. From hearth to castle to monastery, every sound, shadow, and movement contributes to the complex life of darkness, preparing all who dwell within it for the slow, inevitable arrival of dawn. As the night deepens further, a profound stillness settles over the village, interrupted only by the natural sounds of life beyond human vision. The wind moves gently through the trees, carrying the scent of damp earth and fallen leaves. From the distant forest comes the soft rustle of creatures moving unseen, the occasional howl of a lone wolf, and the faint scratching of small animals in underbrush. Every sound, faint and delicate, resonates with meaning for those awake, reminding villagers that the night is alive with both beauty and danger. Within one small cottage, a father rises quietly from his bench to check the hearth. The embers glow faintly, casting soft light across the room and painting long, flickering shadows on the walls. He listens carefully for the breathing of children, ensuring that all remain safely asleep. The rhythm of his steps is slow and deliberate, a dance of vigilance taught by countless nights spent under the moon's quiet gaze. Even in the comfort of home, the lessons of darkness are ever present, demanding awareness and care. Elsewhere, a young woman keeps watch by the barn, ensuring that animals remain settled. The cows shift occasionally, the goats murmur softly, and the occasional clatter of a wooden pail echoes through the cool night air. Her hands move deftly, guiding the animals into place, and her eyes are alert for signs of intruders or wandering creatures. In these hours, the medieval night requires constant attention, blending care for loved ones and livestock with an acute awareness of the surrounding world. On the castle walls, guards continue their ceaseless patrol. Torches flicker in the wind, casting long, uncertain shadows on the stone. Eyes strain to catch movement along the distant fields and forests, and every small noise carries potential significance. Inside the great hall, music drifts softly from stringed instruments, mingling with whispers of conversation. Nobles, lulled by warmth and light, speak quietly of tales and plans, their laughter subdued yet lingering in the corridors. In these fortified walls, night is a mixture of pleasure and vigilance, a delicate balance maintained by awareness and experience. At the monastery, the rhythm of devotion continues. Monks kneel in silent prayer, their chants rising steadily in cadence, echoing softly against stone walls. Some labor in the scriptorium, quill on parchment, copying texts that will endure long beyond their lifetimes. Others meditate or walk slowly through cloisters, letting the sound of their footsteps blend with the soft hum of night. From their heights, the monastery overlooks the sleeping village, an unseen guardian, reminding all of the persistent presence of discipline, faith, and careful observation. Travelers who traverse the countryside at night tread carefully, lanterns swaying with each step. Their path is uncertain, guided by faint starlight and distant sounds. Tales of spirits, bandits, and wild animals hover in the air around them, shaping every action. The medieval traveler learns to respect the night, to move with caution, and to trust both instinct and experience. Each journey in darkness becomes a lesson in patience, observation, and humility, connecting them to all others living under the same expansive sky. Inside homes, families continue their quiet rituals. Herbs are tended, fires are stoked, and prayers are whispered softly. Stories of distant lands, heroic deeds, and local mysteries drift gently through rooms, lulling children into sleep while adults maintain careful watch. The interplay of warmth, firelight, and gentle sound creates a safe cocoon against the ever-present night, a delicate shield of human ingenuity and attentiveness. Thus, the medieval night stretches onward, a tapestry of vigilance, ritual, and gentle wonder. From hearths to castle towers to silent cloisters, the darkness shapes life, offering lessons in patience, care, and quiet reflection. It is a world that continues beyond sight, full of subtle movement and hidden beauty, preparing all who inhabit it for the slow, inevitable arrival of dawn. As the hours pass, the night deepens into its quietest hour, a time when even the smallest sounds take on significance. The wind brushes through the trees, carrying faint scents of wildflowers and damp earth, while distant hills echo the occasional cry of a lone animal. Owls glide silently across the moonlit fields, their wings stirring the cool night air. For those awake, each sound is a reminder that the world beyond their homes is alive, observing, and unceasing in its rhythm. Inside a small village cottage, a young mother stirs once more, checking on the fire and ensuring that her children sleep soundly. She moves quietly, careful not to disturb the hush that blankets the house. The embers glow faintly, casting long shadows on the timbered walls, painting a landscape of shifting light and shadow that seems to dance with the rhythm of the night. Every movement is measured, every sound considered, for the medieval night demands attention, vigilance, and respect. In another home, an elder sits near the hearth, whispering soft words to a grandchild, recounting stories of heroes long past, of spirits that walk the forests, and of lessons learned under moonlight. The child's eyes grow heavy as the warmth of the fire and the cadence of the elder's voice blend with the faint noises of the outside world. Each story carries meaning beyond mere entertainment. It is a lesson, a memory, a thread connecting generations across time and space. Meanwhile, atop the castle walls, the night continues with steady precision. Torches flare and bend in the wind as guards patrol methodically, scanning the horizon for signs of movement. Inside the great hall, music continues softly. Instruments plucked in gentle rhythm, mingling with quiet conversation. Servants move with care, extinguishing candles and carrying supplies, maintaining the delicate order of a household that thrives even in darkness. Here, the medieval night is as much about structure and routine as it is about celebration, a careful balance between vigilance and repose. At the monastery, the monks persist in their nightly devotion. Some kneel in silent prayer, others walk through cloisters in quiet meditation, while a few labor over texts in the scriptorium, their quills scratching softly on parchment. The flicker of candlelight reflects off stone walls, casting elongated shadows that merge with the rhythm of chanting. Their presence is a silent blessing over the village, a reminder of constancy and faith, providing both spiritual guidance and a subtle sense of protection in the quiet darkness. Travelers who cross the countryside at this hour tread with care. Lanterns sway gently with each deliberate step, illuminating the path just enough to avoid obstacles. Each footfall is cautious, every glance alert for danger, whether from wild animals, bandits, or treacherous terrain. Stories of spirits and unseen watchers accompany these journeys, shaping movement and awareness. The medieval night teaches travelers patience, respect, and the necessity of attentiveness, lessons that extend far beyond the immediate hours of darkness. Within the village, those still awake complete their final duties. Fires are rekindled if needed. Animals are checked once more, and quiet prayers are offered for protection. Small acts of care, repeated night after night, form a rhythm that sustains life, ensuring the safety and comfort of both the young and old. Even as shadows stretch longer and the moon arcs higher, warmth, vigilance, and routine create a fragile yet comforting shield against the uncertainties of darkness. Thus, the medieval night stretches on, a tapestry of sounds, rituals, and careful attention. From cottage hearths to castle towers, from cloistered corridors to wandering paths, every element contributes to a shared rhythm of life under darkness. Each moment blends vigilance with wonder, caution with comfort, creating a world that is alive, complex, and quietly beautiful, awaiting the slow, inevitable arrival of dawn. As the night advances further into its quiet heart, the village remains shrouded in a soft, silvery calm. The moon rides high, casting long, gentle shadows across the uneven paths and thatched roofs. Every sound, no matter how small, carries weight. The distant howl of a wolf, the rustle of leaves in the wind, the soft croak of frogs near the pond. Even these faint noises hold meaning for those awake, shaping caution and curiosity, blending the line between fear and wonder. Inside a modest home, a mother rises once more, moving carefully to check on her children. The warmth of the hearth glows faintly, casting flickering light across timber walls and painting shadows that seem to dance in rhythm with the night. She murmurs soft words to soothe restless sleepers, her hand brushing gently over hair and cheeks. Every movement is deliberate. Even small actions carry significance in the quiet of a medieval night, where vigilance and care intertwine with love and routine. Elsewhere, in a larger cottage, a father moves silently among animals in the barn. The cows shift slowly, the goats murmur softly, and the occasional clatter of a wooden pail punctuates the hush. He murmurs reassurances, ensuring each creature is calm and secure. The medieval night while serene, demands attention, and every small gesture of care contributes to the safety of the household. Outside, the wind sways the branches of fruit trees, and the scent of earth and dew rises in waves, a constant reminder of the natural rhythms surrounding human life. On the castle walls, guards continue their steady patrol. Torches flare against stone as eyes scan the distant fields and forest edges, alert for any sign of intrusion. In the great hall, soft music flows from stringed instruments, intertwining with low murmurs of conversation. Servants move quietly, carrying trays and extinguishing candles, maintaining the delicate balance of order and comfort within the walls. Here, night is a blend of responsibility and indulgence, of protection and quiet celebration, its rhythm dictated by both human necessity and social hierarchy. At the monastery, candlelight flickers across the stone floors as monks rise for midnight prayers. Their chants echo softly, blending with the sound of footsteps in cloisters and the scratch of quills in the scriptorium. Some meditate, letting thoughts drift like gentle rivers, while others labor over texts that will endure for generations. From their heights, the monastery watches over the village, offering a sense of continuity, reflection, and subtle guardianship to those who sleep or wander below. Travelers on the countryside paths proceed with extreme caution. Lanterns swing gently with each step, casting flickering pools of light on uneven ground. Each movement is deliberate, each glance vigilant, shaped by tales of bandits, wild animals, or restless spirits. The medieval knight teaches respect for unseen forces, patience, and careful observation, lessons that extend far beyond the immediate hours of darkness. Every traveler learns to move in harmony with the rhythms of night, guided by both fear and understanding. In the homes that remain awake, small tasks continue. Fires are stoked, animals are checked, and whispered prayers are offered for protection. Stories are told quietly. Tales of ancestors, heroic deeds, and strange occurrences that teach lessons and entertain. The combination of warmth, attentive care, and gentle narrative helps ease both children and adults toward sleep, while maintaining an undercurrent of vigilance against the uncertainties of darkness. Thus, the medieval night unfolds in all its complexity, a tapestry woven from light, shadow, sound, and ritual. From cottages to castles, from cloisters to wandering paths, every element contributes to a living rhythm, shaping lives and teaching lessons. Darkness, while challenging and full of unknowns, is also a space of beauty, reflection, and shared human experience, awaiting the slow, inevitable arrival of dawn. As the night wears on, a deeper stillness settles over the village, punctuated only by the soft sounds of life beyond the reach of human eyes. The moon glimmers high above, illuminating winding paths and the rooftops of thatched cottages. Every movement in the shadows, the rustle of leaves, the scurry of small creatures, the distant call of a night bird, carries meaning for those awake. The medieval night, though quiet, remains alive with both beauty and subtle threat, a reminder of the world beyond the glow of hearth fires. Within a modest cottage, a mother moves carefully to check the embers of the fire. Her soft steps barely disturb the air, as she ensures that her children sleep soundly. The glow from the hearth casts flickering shadows on timber walls, creating patterns that seem almost alive, shifting gently with each movement. She hums softly, a melody passed down from her mother, lulling the youngest to deeper sleep. Every action is deliberate, a balance of care and vigilance learned over countless nights under the watchful eyes of moon and stars. In a nearby barn, a father tends to the animals, moving quietly among them. Cows shift slowly, goats murmur softly, and the occasional clatter of a wooden pail punctuates the hush. He murmurs reassurances, adjusting halters and checking the fencing to ensure nothing has wandered astray. The medieval night, while serene, demands constant attention. Every small gesture of care contributes to the safety and well-being of both people and animals, reminding all that survival and comfort are interwoven with diligence. The castle towers above the village, its walls ablaze with torchlight. Guards pace steadily along battlements, eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of intrusion. Inside, soft music drifts from stringed instruments, mingling with quiet conversation. Servants move with care, extinguishing candles and attending to the needs of the household. Night in the castle is both protection and ritual, a delicate balance between vigilance and indulgence, structured by the demands of duty and the rhythms of medieval life. At the monastery, candlelight flickers across stone floors as monks continue their midnight devotion. Some kneel in silent prayer, their voices echoing softly in cloisters. Others move slowly through corridors, meditating on scripture, while a few labor diligently in the scriptorium, quill scratching gently against parchment. Their quiet presence offers a subtle reassurance to the village below, a spiritual safeguard that blends devotion with vigilance, teaching that awareness and reflection are intertwined under the vast expanse of night. Travelers along the countryside paths move with extreme caution. Lanterns cast narrow circles of light, revealing the uneven ground beneath their feet. Each step is measured, each glance alert, guided by tales of bandits, wild animals, and spirits that roam unseen. The medieval night teaches patience, awareness, and respect for forces beyond immediate control, lessons that shape every journey taken under moonlight. Back in the village, quiet tasks continue for those who remain awake. Fires are rekindled, animals checked, and whispered prayers offered for protection. Stories are shared softly, tales of past deeds, strange happenings, and heroic ancestors, blending entertainment with instruction. Children, soothed by warmth and gentle voices, drift further into sleep, while adults maintain a careful watch over both home and hearth, balancing vigilance with care. Thus, the medieval night persists, a living tapestry of shadow, sound, ritual, and attentiveness. From cottages to castles, from cloisters to wandering paths, each element contributes to a shared rhythm, shaping life, teaching patience, and offering quiet beauty. Darkness, while mysterious and challenging, is also a space of learning, reflection, and connection, preparing all who dwell within it for the gradual approach of dawn. The night deepens, and the village rests under a soft silver glow. Yet the world beyond remains awake in subtle ways. The wind carries the earthy scent of dew and fallen leaves, brushing gently across thatched roofs and narrow paths. In the distant woods, small creatures move silently among shadows, and the call of a night bird drifts across open fields. Even these faint sounds hold meaning for those awake, teaching vigilance and respect for the unseen forces of the world. Inside a modest cottage, a mother rises to check on her children once more. The embers of the hearth glow faintly, casting long dancing shadows across the timbered walls. She moves quietly, careful not to disturb the hush that blankets the room, her hand brushing softly over a child's forehead. The medieval night, though silent and serene, is alive with subtle danger and instruction. Every step, every glance carries significance. In the barn, a father tends to his animals. Cows shift slowly, goats murmur softly, and the occasional clatter of a wooden pail punctuates the quiet. He whispers gentle reassurances, adjusts halters, and ensures the animals are secure for the night. The rhythm of care is measured and deliberate, learned through countless nights under moonlight, teaching that even the smallest actions are crucial in sustaining life through darkness. At the castle, guards patrol steadily along stone battlements. Torches bend in the night wind, casting tall shadows that sway across the courtyard. Inside, soft music drifts from stringed instruments, mingling with whispers of conversation. Servants move silently, attending to fires and extinguishing candles, maintaining a careful balance between comfort and vigilance. Night in the castle is a mixture of protection, ritual, and gentle entertainment, structured to uphold both order and the rhythm of life. At the monastery, monks continue their midnight devotion. Some kneel in silent prayer, their chants echoing softly, blending with the sound of footsteps in cloisters. Others meditate or work over manuscripts, quills scratching softly on parchment, leaving behind texts that will endure long after the night has passed. Their quiet dedication offers subtle protection to the village, a spiritual rhythm that parallels the vigilance of those awake in cottages and castles alike. Travelers along darkened paths proceed cautiously. Lanterns cast narrow circles of light, revealing uneven terrain while shadows loom beyond. Every step is careful, every glance alert, guided by tales of bandits, wild animals, and spirits that move unseen. The medieval night teaches patience, attentiveness, and respect, instilling lessons that extend beyond immediate survival into the wisdom of life itself. Back in the village, families maintain quiet rituals. Fires are tended, animals checked, and prayers whispered softly. Stories of heroes, ancestors, and strange occurrences drift through the air, their cadence lulling children toward sleep while reminding adults of both vigilance and the comforts of home. Warmth, light, and gentle sound create a protective cocoon against the uncertainties of darkness, a fragile yet enduring shield. Thus, the medieval night continues to weave its tapestry of sound, shadow, ritual, and care. From cottage hearths to castle towers, from cloisters to wandering paths, every element contributes to a shared rhythm of life. Darkness, while mysterious and demanding, is also a space of learning, reflection, and quiet wonder, preparing all who dwell within it for the slow, inevitable approach of dawn. As the night moves toward its final hours, a gentle hush settles more deeply over the village. The moon hangs high, its silver light spilling across fields and rooftops, casting long, delicate shadows that seem to sway in rhythm with the wind. Every subtle sound, rustling leaves, distant hoots of owls, the occasional scurry of a forest creature, becomes meaningful, shaping the thoughts and vigilance of those still awake. The medieval night, though quiet, pulses with life and unseen energy, teaching awareness, patience, and reverence for the world beyond human perception. Inside a small cottage, a mother moves softly to check the fire and her sleeping children. The embers glow faintly, casting flickering shadows across the timbered walls, and her footsteps are measured, careful not to disturb the tranquility. She whispers soothing words, brushing hair from a child's face, offering warmth and comfort in the cool hours before dawn. In the quiet, every action is deliberate. The night demands attention, and even the smallest gestures of care carry significance, ensuring safety and peace within the home. In the barn, a father attends to the animals one last time. Cows shift gently, goats murmur softly, and the clatter of wooden buckets punctuates the hushed air. He adjusts halters, checks fencing, and whispers reassurances, ensuring all creatures are secure for the night. The rhythm of his movements is learned from countless nights beneath the moon. Each gesture, an essential part of life in a world where darkness is both teacher and companion. High upon the castle walls, guards continue their watch. Torches flare and bend with the wind, casting long, flickering shadows over stone battlements. Their eyes scan distant fields and the surrounding forests, alert for any sign of intruder or disturbance. Inside the great hall, soft music drifts from stringed instruments, mingling with whispered conversation. Servants move silently, tending fires and extinguishing candles, maintaining the delicate balance of comfort and vigilance. Night in the castle is a careful dance of duty and leisure, ensuring both safety and serenity within the walls. At the monastery, monks engage in quiet devotion. Some kneel in prayer, their voices rising and falling in steady cadence, while others walk through the cloisters, meditating on scripture. A few labor over manuscripts, quills scratching softly against parchment, leaving behind texts that will survive long after the night ends. Their presence offers spiritual guidance and subtle protection to the village below, a constant reminder that vigilance, reflection, and care extend beyond physical boundaries. Travelers moving through the countryside tread with utmost care. Lanterns sway gently, illuminating narrow paths and revealing uneven terrain. Each step is deliberate, each glance alert, guided by stories of bandits, wild beasts, and unseen spirits. The medieval night teaches patience, awareness, and respect for forces beyond human control, lessons that shape every journey taken under moonlight. Within the village, those still awake continue small nightly tasks. Fires are rekindled, animals checked, and prayers whispered softly. Families share quiet stories of ancestors' heroic deeds and mysterious events, blending entertainment with instruction. Children, soothed by warmth, gentle voices, and rhythmic storytelling, drift further into sleep. Adults maintain a careful watch, balancing vigilance with the comfort and routine of home life. Thus, the medieval night stretches onward, a living tapestry of shadow, sound, ritual, and attentive care. From cottages to castle towers, from cloisters to wandering paths. Every element contributes to a shared rhythm of life. Darkness, though demanding and mysterious, is also a space of reflection, learning, and quiet beauty, guiding all who dwell within it toward the gradual, inevitable arrival of dawn. The village lies under a deep, silvered night, yet life continues in its subtle rhythms. The wind moves through the fields, bending the tall grasses and stirring the leaves of orchard trees. Distant animals stir in the woods, and the faint calls of night birds echo across the open fields. Every sound carries meaning to those awake, teaching attentiveness and patience. The medieval night, though calm, pulses with hidden life and constant awareness, reminding the villagers that darkness is never truly empty. Within a small cottage, a mother moves softly, checking the fire and ensuring her children sleep peacefully. The glow from the embers paints long shadows across timber walls, flickering gently with every movement. She whispers soothing words, smoothing a child's hair, offering warmth and reassurance in the quiet hours. Every action, no matter how small, matters. The night demands care, vigilance, and deliberate attention. The lessons of darkness are subtle yet vital, weaving safety, comfort, and discipline into daily life. In the barn, a father attends to the animals. Cows shift, goats murmur, and the faint clatter of wooden pails punctuates the silence. He murmurs reassurances, adjusts halters, and ensures fences are secure. Each movement is purposeful, learned from countless nights spent under the moon's watchful gaze. The rhythm of care continues seamlessly, a bridge between survival and routine, comfort and responsibility. Atop the castle walls, guards patrol steadily. Torches flare and bend with the wind, casting long shadows across stone battlements. Eyes scan the horizon, alert for the slightest movement among distant fields or forests. Inside the castle, soft music drifts through the great hall, mingling with quiet conversation. Servants move carefully, tending fires and extinguishing candles, preserving a delicate balance of order and comfort. The night in the castle is a careful orchestration of vigilance and indulgence, duty and gentle entertainment coexisting in harmony. Within the monastery, monks continue their midnight devotion. Some kneel in silent prayer, their voices echoing softly through the stone corridors, while others labor over manuscripts, quills scratching quietly against parchment. Their quiet work and meditation offer reassurance to the village below, blending spiritual discipline with subtle protection. Night is a space of reflection, devotion, and care, teaching patience and attentiveness to those who dwell both within and beyond the monastery walls. Travelers moving through the countryside proceed with extreme caution. Lanterns cast narrow circles of light, revealing uneven paths and obscured obstacles. Each step is measured, each glance vigilant, guided by tales of spirits, bandits, and wild beasts. The medieval night instructs those who journey in patience, careful observation, and respect for unseen forces, instilling wisdom that extends far beyond the immediate hours of darkness. Back in the village, households maintain small nightly routines. Fires are rekindled, animals checked, and whispered prayers offered for protection. Stories of past deeds, heroic ancestors, and strange occurrences drift softly through rooms, entertaining while also teaching caution. Children, soothed by warmth, gentle voices, and rhythmic storytelling, drift into deeper sleep. Adults maintain watch, balancing vigilance with domestic care and the comfort of routine. Thus, the medieval night continues, a living tapestry of sound, shadow, ritual, and attentive care. From cottages to castle towers, from cloisters to wandering paths, each element contributes to a shared rhythm of life. Darkness, though filled with mystery and subtle danger, is also a space of reflection, learning, and quiet beauty, guiding all who dwell within it toward the slow, inevitable arrival of dawn. The village rests under a silvered sky, yet life hums softly within its bounds. The wind flows through fields and orchards, bending the grasses and carrying the faint aroma of damp earth and wildflowers. Small animals stir in the shadows, their movements quiet but deliberate, blending into the night's rhythm. Each sound, though subtle, carries significance for those awake, a reminder that even in darkness, life is vibrant, alert, and unceasing. Inside a modest cottage, a mother moves quietly among the sleeping children, checking the embers of the fire and smoothing blankets. The soft glow of the hearth casts dancing shadows on timbered walls, painting shapes that shift with every gentle motion. She hums a lullaby learned from her own mother, a melody that eases the children deeper into sleep. In these quiet hours, every gesture is purposeful. The night demands care, attention, and vigilance. Even small acts of love and caution create a sense of safety that stretches across the household. In the barn, a father tends to the animals, whispering reassurances as he checks halters and fences. The cows shift gently, goats murmur softly, and the occasional clatter of a pail breaks the silence. Each motion is measured, learned from countless nights under moonlight. The rhythm of care ensures security, sustains life, and teaches patience, reminding all that survival is an interplay of observation, diligence, and quiet devotion. High upon the castle walls, guards continue their steady patrol. Torches flicker in the wind, casting tall, swaying shadows over stone battlements. Their eyes scan the distant fields and forests for movement, ever alert to the slightest disturbance. Inside the castle, music drifts softly from stringed instruments, mingling with hushed conversation. Servants move carefully among rooms, tending fires and extinguishing candles, preserving the delicate balance of safety and comfort. Night in the castle is a careful orchestration of duty and leisure, vigilance and gentle indulgence, intertwined in every shadow and sound. Within the monastery, monks kneel in prayer, their chants echoing softly through stone corridors. Others move through cloisters, meditating or laboring over manuscripts, quills scratching gently on parchment. Their dedication offers subtle guidance and protection to the village below. Night becomes a space of reflection, spiritual discipline, and watchfulness, teaching lessons in patience, constancy, and attentiveness to those who dwell in both visible and hidden realms. Travelers along countryside paths proceed cautiously, their lanterns illuminating only small sections of the uneven ground. Each step is deliberate, each glance alert, informed by stories of wild animals, bandits, and unseen spirits. The medieval night shapes these journeys, teaching respect, patience, and careful observation. Lessons that extend far beyond the hours spent under moonlight. Back in the village, quiet routines continue. Fires are stoked, animals checked, and whispered prayers offered for protection. Families share stories of heroes, ancestors, and strange occurrences. Their cadence soothing children while reminding adults of vigilance and care. The interplay of warmth, attentive watch, and rhythmic storytelling weaves security and comfort into the night, balancing human presence with the surrounding mystery of darkness. Thus, the medieval night stretches on, a tapestry of shadow, sound, and ritual, alive with subtle life and quiet beauty. From cottages to castle towers, from cloisters to wandering paths, each element contributes to the rhythm of life. Darkness, though demanding and mysterious, is also a space of reflection, learning, and shared experience, preparing all who dwell within it for the slow, inevitable arrival of dawn. The village sleeps beneath a blanket of silver moonlight, yet the night is far from silent. The wind drifts through the fields and orchards, bending the grasses and carrying the scent of earth and dew. In the darkened woods, small creatures move with careful precision, and the distant call of an owl breaks the stillness. Each sound holds meaning for those awake, a reminder that the medieval night is alive with both beauty and caution, teaching awareness and patience to all who remain vigilant. Within a small cottage, a mother rises once more, moving softly to check the fire and the sleeping children. The faint glow from the hearth casts shifting shadows on timber walls, creating a gentle dance of light and darkness. She hums a quiet lullaby, soothing restless children and offering warmth and reassurance. Every movement is intentional. The night requires vigilance, care, and attentiveness. Even small gestures of comfort and protection ripple through the household, preserving security in hours when shadows loom long and uncertainty lingers. In the barn, a father continues his nightly watch over the animals. Cows shift slowly, goats murmur softly, and the clatter of a wooden pail punctuates the quiet. He whispers reassurances, adjusts halters, and ensures fences are secure. Each action is deliberate, a learned rhythm from countless nights under moonlight. The medieval night, though calm in appearance, demands care, observation, and subtle discipline, reinforcing the connection between human diligence and the safety of life's fragile balance. High upon the castle walls, guards patrol steadily. Torches bend with the wind, casting long, flickering shadows across battlements. Eyes scan the distant fields and forests, alert for movement or intrusion. Inside the castle, soft music drifts through the great hall, mingling with whispered conversation. Servants move carefully, tending fires and extinguishing candles, maintaining the delicate harmony between protection and comfort. The night in the castle blends vigilance with routine, responsibility with subtle indulgence, reflecting the measured rhythms of medieval life. At the monastery, monks kneel in prayer, their voices echoing softly against stone walls. Others move through cloisters in meditation, while a few labor in the scriptorium, quills scratching gently on parchment. Their quiet dedication provides both spiritual guidance and subtle protection to the village below. Night is a space of reflection, devotion, and careful observation, teaching the virtues of patience, constancy, and awareness to all who live under its watch. Travelers crossing the countryside tread cautiously. Lanterns cast narrow circles of light, illuminating only the immediate path. Each step is deliberate, each glance alert, informed by tales of spirits, bandits, and wild animals. The medieval knight shapes these journeys, instructing in vigilance, humility, and respect for forces beyond human control. Every traveler learns that survival and understanding are intertwined in the rhythm of darkness. Back in the village, nightly routines continue quietly. Fires are rekindled, animals checked, and prayers whispered softly. Families share stories of heroes, ancestors, and strange events, blending entertainment with lessons of caution and care. Children drift into sleep, soothed by warmth, gentle voices, and rhythmic storytelling. Adults maintain watch over home and hearth, balancing vigilance with the comfort and routine that sustain life through the night. Thus, the medieval night stretches onward, a living tapestry of sound, shadow, ritual, and care. From cottages to castle towers, from cloisters to wandering paths, every element contributes to a shared rhythm of life. Darkness, while mysterious and demanding, is also a space of reflection, learning, and quiet beauty, guiding all who dwell within it toward the gradual, inevitable arrival of dawn. The night continues its quiet reign over the village, a silvered calm stretching across fields and thatched roofs. The wind flows gently through the trees and orchards, carrying the scent of earth, dew, and faint blossoms. In the darkened woods, creatures move silently, unseen but perceptible in the subtle sounds of rustling leaves and distant calls. Each sound carries meaning, teaching those awake to be vigilant, aware, and respectful of the night's delicate rhythm. The medieval night, though tranquil, pulses with life and hidden lessons, a time for observation, care, and quiet reflection. Within a small cottage, a mother rises once more to check on her children. The glow of the hearth casts flickering shadows on timbered walls, painting shapes that seem to sway in rhythm with her careful movements. She hums a soft lullaby, brushing hair from a child's face, offering warmth and reassurance. Every gesture is deliberate. The night demands care, attentiveness, and subtle vigilance. Even the smallest acts of love and protection ripple across the household, ensuring safety and comfort in the dark hours. In the barn, a father moves quietly among the animals. Cows shift, goats murmur, and the occasional clatter of wooden buckets punctuates the stillness. He whispers reassurances, adjusts halters, and checks fences, ensuring each creature is secure for the night. The rhythm of his movements is learned from countless nights beneath the moon's watchful gaze. The medieval night, though serene in appearance, requires diligence, observation, and care, reinforcing the bond between human action and the safety of life. High atop the castle walls, guards continue their patrol. Torches flicker and bend with the wind, casting elongated shadows over battlements. Eyes scan distant forests and fields, alert for any sign of movement. Inside the castle, soft music drifts from stringed instruments, mingling with hushed conversation. Servants move carefully, tending fires and extinguishing candles, maintaining the balance of comfort and vigilance. Night in the castle is a carefully orchestrated dance of duty and leisure, protection and gentle enjoyment, reflecting the rhythms of medieval life. At the monastery, monks kneel in prayer, their voices echoing softly through stone corridors. Others move quietly through cloisters in meditation or labor over manuscripts, quills scratching gently on parchment. Their devotion offers both spiritual guidance and subtle protection to the village below. Night becomes a space of reflection, study, and watchfulness, teaching patience, consistency, and attentiveness to all who dwell within and beyond the monastery walls. Travelers on the countryside paths proceed with extreme care. Lanterns cast narrow pools of light, illuminating only a small portion of uneven ground. Each step is deliberate, each glance vigilant, informed by stories of bandits, wild animals, and unseen spirits. The medieval knight teaches humility, patience, and respect for forces beyond human control, guiding every journey through darkness with awareness and caution. Within the village, nightly routines continue quietly. Fires are stoked, animals checked, and whispered prayers offered for protection. Families share tales of ancestors, heroes, and strange happenings, blending entertainment with lessons of caution. Children drift deeper into sleep, soothed by warmth, gentle voices, and rhythmic storytelling. Adults maintain careful watch, balancing vigilance with the comforting routines of home life. Thus, the medieval night unfolds a living tapestry of shadow, sound, ritual, and attentiveness. From cottages to castle towers, from cloisters to wandering paths, every element contributes to the rhythm of life. Darkness, though mysterious and demanding, is also a space of reflection, learning, and quiet beauty, guiding all who dwell within it toward the slow, inevitable arrival of dawn. The village remains swathed in the gentle embrace of night, silver moonlight glimmering on thatched roofs and winding paths. The wind whispers through the fields and orchards, carrying the scent of wet earth and blooming wildflowers. In the surrounding woods, creatures move quietly, each rustle of leaves or distant hoot of an owl carrying weight and meaning. For those awake, the medieval night is alive with subtle signals and lessons, teaching vigilance, awareness, and a deep respect for the unseen forces that shape life after sunset. Inside a small cottage, a mother moves with careful steps, checking the sleeping children and the glowing embers of the hearth. Shadows dance across the timbered walls, shifting with the flicker of the firelight. She hums a lullaby learned from her own mother, a melody soft and steady, soothing restless sleepers and offering warmth in the cool night air. Every action is deliberate. Even the smallest gestures of care are crucial in a time when darkness holds both mystery and potential danger. The night demands patience, attentiveness, and gentle vigilance. In the barn, a father tends to the animals with quiet diligence. Cows shift, goats murmur softly, and the occasional clatter of a wooden pail punctuates the silence. He adjusts halters, checks fences, and whispers reassurances to calm the creatures, ensuring each is secure for the night. The rhythm of his work, repeated night after night, teaches lessons of diligence, observation, and the delicate balance between human effort and the safety of life in darkness. Upon the castle walls, guards patrol with steady steps, Torches sway in the wind, casting elongated shadows that stretch across stone battlements. Their eyes scan distant forests and open fields, alert for any signs of intrusion. Inside the castle, soft music drifts from stringed instruments, mingling with quiet conversation. Servants move carefully, tending fires and extinguishing candles, maintaining the delicate harmony between vigilance and comfort. The night in the castle is a careful orchestration of duty and leisure, protection and subtle enjoyment, reflecting the measured rhythms of medieval life. At the monastery, monks continue their midnight devotion. Some kneel in prayer, their voices rising and falling in steady cadence. Others meditate quietly or labor over manuscripts, quills scratching gently on parchment. Their presence offers spiritual guidance and subtle protection to the village below. Night becomes a space for reflection, discipline, and quiet observation, instilling lessons in patience, attentiveness, and consistency for all who dwell in its sphere. Travelers journeying through the countryside move with great caution. Lanterns cast narrow pools of light, illuminating uneven paths, while shadows loom beyond. Each step is deliberate, each glance alert, informed by tales of wild animals, bandits, and restless spirits. The medieval night teaches humility, awareness, and respect for the hidden forces of the world, guiding those who travel through darkness with both caution and understanding. Within the village, families continue their quiet nightly routines. Fires are rekindled, animals checked, and prayers whispered softly for protection. Tales of heroes, ancestors, and mysterious events drift through rooms, blending instruction with entertainment. Children drift into deeper sleep, soothed by warmth, gentle voices, and rhythmic storytelling. Adults maintain watch over home and hearth, balancing vigilance with domestic care and the comforting cadence of routine. Thus, the medieval night unfolds, a living tapestry of shadow, sound, ritual, and gentle attention. From cottages to castle towers, from cloisters to wandering paths, every element contributes to a shared rhythm of life. Darkness, though full of mystery and demand, is also a space of reflection, learning, and quiet beauty, guiding all who dwell within it toward the inevitable, gentle arrival of dawn. The village rests beneath a gentle moonlit sky, silver light washing over thatched roofs, winding lanes, and quiet fields. The wind flows softly through trees and orchards, carrying the earthy scent of dew and blossoms. In the surrounding woods, creatures move quietly, their small movements blending with the rustling of leaves and distant calls of night birds. For those awake, each sound carries significance, a subtle lesson in awareness, patience, and the careful observation demanded by the medieval night. Within a modest cottage, a mother walks quietly among her sleeping children, checking the hearth and smoothing blankets. Shadows from the fire dance across the walls, flickering and shifting with each careful step. She hums a lullaby, soft and steady, calming restless sleepers and offering warmth in the cool hours. Every action is deliberate. The night requires vigilance, attentiveness, and gentle care. Even small gestures ripple across the household, ensuring both security and peace. In the barn, a father moves softly among the animals, Cows shift, goats murmur, and the clatter of a wooden bucket occasionally breaks the silence. He adjusts halters, checks fencing, and whispers reassurances, ensuring each creature rests safely through the night. The rhythm of his movements, learned over countless nights, reflects the interconnection between human diligence and the well-being of life under darkness. High on the castle walls, guards patrol steadily. Torches sway in the night wind, casting elongated shadows across stone battlements. Eyes scan forests and fields, vigilant for any disturbance. Inside the castle, soft music drifts from stringed instruments, mingling with quiet conversation. Servants move carefully, tending fires and extinguishing candles, maintaining a delicate balance between comfort and vigilance. Night in the castle is a measured dance of duty and subtle indulgence, protection and quiet leisure intertwined. At the monastery, monks continue their midnight devotion. Some kneel in prayer, their voices rising and falling with steady cadence. Others meditate or labor over manuscripts, quills scratching softly on parchment. Their dedication provides spiritual guidance and subtle protection to the village below. Night becomes a space for reflection, study, and watchfulness, teaching patience, attentiveness, and consistency to all who dwell in its realm. Travelers along darkened paths move cautiously, their lanterns casting narrow circles of light. Each step is deliberate, each glance vigilant, informed by tales of spirits, bandits, and wild beasts. The medieval night teaches awareness, humility, and respect for forces beyond human control. Journeys through darkness become lessons in observation, understanding, and careful navigation of the unseen. Back in the village, nightly routines continue quietly. Fires are rekindled, animals checked, and whispered prayers offered for protection. Families share stories of heroes, ancestors, and strange occurrences, blending entertainment with instruction. Children drift into deeper sleep, soothed by warmth, gentle voices, and rhythmic storytelling. Adults maintain careful watch, balancing vigilance with the comforting routines of home life. Thus, the medieval night unfolds, a living tapestry of shadow, sound, ritual, and attention. From cottages to castle towers, from cloisters to wandering paths, every element contributes to the shared rhythm of life. Darkness, though demanding and mysterious, is also a space of reflection, learning, and quiet beauty, guiding all who dwell within it toward the slow, inevitable arrival of dawn. The village remains cloaked in silver moonlight, a soft glow illuminating thatched roofs, winding lanes, and open fields. The wind drifts gently through trees and orchards, carrying the scent of dew and damp earth. In the surrounding woods, small creatures move quietly, their rustling blending with distant calls of night birds. For those awake, each sound is a reminder that the medieval night is alive, full of lessons in vigilance, patience, and the quiet understanding of unseen forces. Within a modest cottage, a mother rises softly, checking the hearth and the sleeping children. Shadows from the fire flicker across timbered walls, dancing with each careful movement. She hums a gentle lullaby, smoothing blankets and brushing hair from a child's face, offering warmth and reassurance in the cool night air. Every gesture is deliberate. The night demands attentiveness and careful care. Even the smallest actions create a ripple of safety and comfort throughout the household. In the barn, a father tends to the animals with quiet diligence. Cows shift and murmur. Goats respond softly, and the occasional clatter of a wooden pail punctuates the calm. He adjusts halters, checks fences, and murmurs soothing words, ensuring each creature rests safely. The rhythm of his work, learned over countless nights, reflects the delicate balance between human care and the preservation of life under the cover of darkness. High on the castle walls, guards patrol with steady vigilance. Torches sway in the night wind, casting long shadows across stone battlements. Eyes scan forests and distant fields, alert for any sign of intrusion. Within the castle, soft music drifts through the great hall, mingling with hushed conversation. Servants move carefully, tending fires and extinguishing candles, maintaining the harmony between comfort and watchfulness. The castle night is a measured balance of duty and gentle leisure, vigilance and subtle enjoyment intertwined. At the monastery, monks continue their midnight devotion. Some kneel in prayer, their voices echoing softly, while others meditate or labor over manuscripts, quills scratching gently on parchment. Their presence provides spiritual guidance and subtle protection to the village below. Night becomes a space for reflection, devotion, and careful observation, instilling patience, constancy, and awareness in all who dwell within its reach. Travelers along dimly lit paths proceed cautiously, lanterns casting narrow pools of light. Each step is measured, each glance alert, guided by stories of bandits, wild animals, and spirits that wander unseen. The medieval night shapes their journey, teaching humility, patience, and respect for forces beyond human control. Every movement through darkness becomes an exercise in careful observation and understanding. Back in the village, nightly routines continue in soft rhythm. Fires are rekindled, animals checked, and whispered prayers offered for protection. Families share tales of heroes, ancestors, and mysterious events, blending entertainment with lessons of caution. Children drift into deeper sleep, soothed by warmth, gentle voices, and rhythmic storytelling. Adults maintain their watch, balancing vigilance with comforting routines that sustain life through the long night. Thus, the medieval night stretches onward, a living tapestry of shadow, sound, ritual, and careful attention. From cottages to castle towers, from cloisters to wandering paths, every element contributes to the shared rhythm of life. Darkness, though full of mystery and quiet demands, is also a space of reflection, learning, and gentle beauty, guiding all who dwell within it toward the slow, inevitable arrival of dawn. The village lies beneath a calm, silvered sky, the moonlight spilling softly over thatched roofs, winding streets, and open fields. The wind drifts gently through trees and orchards, carrying the fragrance of dew, earth, and late-blooming flowers. In the surrounding woods, small creatures stir quietly, their movements blending with rustling leaves and the distant calls of nocturnal birds. For those awake, each sound carries meaning, a subtle reminder that the medieval night is alive with lessons in vigilance, patience, and attentiveness to unseen forces. Within a modest cottage, a mother moves softly among her sleeping children. The fire glows faintly, casting flickering shadows across the timbered walls. She hums a gentle lullaby, brushing hair from a child's face, adjusting blankets, and offering warmth and reassurance in the cool night air. Every gesture is purposeful. The night demands care, attentiveness, and subtle vigilance. Even the smallest acts of tenderness ripple through the household, preserving comfort and safety during the dark hours. In the barn, a father tends to the animals with quiet diligence. Cows shift and murmur. Goats respond softly, and the occasional clatter of a wooden bucket punctuates the stillness. He adjusts halters, checks fences, and murmurs soothing words, ensuring each creature rests securely. The rhythm of his movements, honed through countless nights, reflects the delicate balance between human care and life survival under the moonlit sky. High upon the castle walls, guards maintain their steady patrol. Torches flicker and sway with the night wind, casting long, stretching shadows across stone battlements. Eyes scan distant fields and forests, ever alert for movement or intrusion. Within the castle, soft music drifts from stringed instruments, mingling with whispered conversation. Servants move carefully, tending fires and extinguishing candles, maintaining a delicate harmony between comfort and vigilance. The castle night is a balance of duty and gentle leisure, protection and subtle enjoyment intertwined with every shadow and sound. At the monastery, monks continue their midnight devotion. Some kneel in prayer, their voices rising and falling with steady cadence. Others meditate quietly or labor over manuscripts, quills scratching gently on parchment. Their presence offers both spiritual guidance and subtle protection to the village below. Night is a space of reflection, discipline, and attentive observation, teaching patience, constancy, and awareness to all who dwell in its realm. Travelers along the countryside move cautiously, lanterns casting narrow circles of light over uneven paths. Each step is deliberate, each glance alert, guided by tales of spirits, bandits, and wild animals. The medieval night instructs humility, patience, and respect for the hidden forces of the world. Every journey through darkness becomes a lesson in careful observation and understanding, shaping those who travel under the moon's quiet watch. Back in the village, nightly routines persist. Fires are rekindled, animals checked, and prayers whispered for protection. Families share stories of heroes, ancestors, and mysterious events, blending entertainment with instruction. Children drift deeper into sleep, soothed by warmth, gentle voices, and rhythmic storytelling. Adults maintain watch, balancing vigilance with the comforting routines of home life. Thus, the medieval night continues, a living tapestry of shadow, sound, ritual, and gentle care. From cottages to castle towers, from cloisters to wandering paths, every element contributes to the shared rhythm of life. Darkness, though filled with mystery and quiet demands, is also a space of reflection, learning, and beauty, guiding all who dwell within it toward the inevitable gentle arrival of dawn. The first hints of dawn begin to touch the horizon, a pale glow softening the edges of thatched roofs, rolling fields, and quiet lanes. The medieval village long immersed in shadow and moonlight, stirs gently, welcoming the gradual return of sunlight. The wind still drifts through orchards and meadows, carrying the lingering scent of dew and earth. But the night's mysteries begin to fade as birds herald the day with soft, persistent songs. For those who remained awake through the long hours, the night has offered lessons in vigilance, care, and subtle awareness, shaping their understanding of life and the natural rhythm of the world. Within the cottages, mothers and fathers move quietly, checking on children as the first streaks of light filter through windows. Fires are rekindled to warm the morning, and animals are fed, brushed, and prepared for the day ahead. The soft movements, once conducted under the moon's watchful eye, now occur under the gentle clarity of dawn. Each gesture carries the accumulated lessons of the night, the understanding that care, attentiveness, and patience are vital to life's continuity. Children awaken slowly, stretching and blinking at the new light, their dreams fading but leaving behind the security built in the long hours of darkness. In the barns, fathers and older children work side by side to guide animals into the day. Cows low softly, goats nudge hands for feed, and the clatter of pails and tools fills the air. What was once quiet vigilance now transforms into the rhythm of daily labor, teaching resilience, diligence, and the seamless connection between human effort and the life they protect. Each task honors the night's lessons, turning shadowed attentiveness into purposeful action beneath the rising sun. Atop castle walls, guards complete their final rounds of the night, eyes scanning the horizon for signs missed in darkness. Torches are extinguished, banners still flap softly in the morning breeze, and the castle hums with the transition from watchful night to orderly day. Within halls and chambers, soft music greets the awakening. Servants move with renewed purpose, and the balance of duty, comfort, and protection shifts naturally from vigilance to routine. Night's quiet lessons linger in memory, shaping the day's decisions and care. In the monastery, monks conclude their night prayers and reflection, the chants fading with the approach of morning. Quills are set aside, manuscripts are carefully stored, and the cloisters begin to fill with the sounds of early activity. Their devotion has provided subtle protection, spiritual guidance, and continuity. Through the night, the rhythm of darkness, once intimate and deliberate, dissolves into the gentle structure of daytime devotion and labor, reminding all who dwell nearby of the interplay between night and day, caution and routine, shadow and light. Travelers who endured the long night begin their journeys in earnest. Lanterns are lowered, shadows shrink, and paths once fraught with uncertainty now reveal their details in soft morning light. Each step forward is informed by the careful lessons of the night, the awareness of hidden dangers, the necessity of patience, and the value of vigilance. Journeys that began in fear and caution continue with confidence, guided by knowledge earned beneath the stars. Back in the village, families gather slowly. Fires crackle, meals are prepared, and conversations stir gently. Stories of ancestors, heroic deeds, and nighttime mysteries are shared once more, not merely as entertainment, but as a means to pass on wisdom, resilience, and understanding to the next generation. Children listen, absorbing lessons of both caution and courage, while adults reflect on the quiet power of the night that has now passed. Thus, the medieval night concludes, leaving behind a landscape enriched by experience, a village strengthened by care, and hearts tempered by the rhythms of shadow and moonlight. Darkness, though mysterious and demanding, has imparted knowledge, patience, and attentiveness to all who dwelled within it. The first rays of dawn illuminate a world where life continues, aware and prepared, carrying forward the lessons learned during hours when the moon watched silently over cottages, barns, castles, cloisters, and wandering paths. With sunlight comes renewed activity. But the memory of night's subtle, profound guidance remains, woven quietly into the fabric of daily life. And so, the story of the medieval night ends, a testament to the rhythm of shadow and light, care and vigilance, fear and beauty, leaving all who lived through it better prepared for the world that awaits at sunrise. As our journey through the medieval night comes to a gentle close, dear listener, take a moment to stretch softly and settle into your own cozy space. If you've enjoyed wandering through these shadowed lanes, listening to whispers of cottages, barns, castles, and cloisters, don't forget to subscribe so that more tales of quiet history and drifting nights can find you. Share this story with friends who love peaceful journeys through time, and leave a comment below to tell us where you're listening from or which part of the medieval night enchanted you most. Now, take a slow, deep breath. Feel the rhythm of your heart matching the gentle cadence of our tale. Let your shoulders relax, your eyes grow heavy, and imagine the soft glow of firelight fading into a silvery dreamscape. Allow your mind to drift as the moonlight of our story fades, carrying you gently toward sleep. Close your eyes, listen to the quiet whispers of the night, and let your body sink into comfort. The medieval world rests now, and so may you. Good night, dear listener. May your dreams be calm, peaceful, and full of gentle wonder.